Hello friends, and welcome to my crafty space where I share my memory keeping projects and processes with all of you. If this is your first time here, hello and welcome. My name is Crystal and I am super excited that you are here. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so you can see all my future crafty videos, and any of the products or the links that I mention in this video I will put in that description box down below. So today I am pulling back out my traveler's notebook that I'm putting together for our 12 visits to the zoo this year, and I am documenting our February visit. So on this trip, it was kind of still cold, and so there weren't a whole lot of people at the zoo with us, and we got the pleasure to see this peacock like super up close. Like he literally jumped up on the post as I was standing there and posed for me to take pictures of him. So I am documenting the peacock this week, and I am using the Feature Craft Happy Little Moments kit that I used some of the cards and turned them into TN sized papers. But I will tell you guys more about that as I am working on this process. I'm going to go ahead and put you guys on fast forward and get to work on this. I'll voice over the top of it, and then at the end we'll slow back down and I will close you out. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So for this spread, I ended up using 2 of the digital journaling cards to make them into TN size paper. So that's 4.25 inches wide by 8.25 inches tall. So the first one is the one with all the arrows on it. And what I did was I essentially took the card, put it onto the canvas that is the TN size. So, the 4.25 by 8.25 canvas. And then I increased the size until it was the same width as the canvas space. And then I duplicated that layer, and then I flipped it upside down. That way the pattern didn't repeat in such a way that it looked like it was just 2 cards stacked on top of each other. So you can kind of see where there is that teal arrow back to back. That is where the 2 pieces came together. So, and then the other one is the striped where it just says captured on the bottom, and I put the date on there, and that's just, I left the rest white because I knew I was going to put this photo on top of the white portion. So now what I want to do is create a way to put some journaling onto the page. Since I want the photo to be a full page, and my idea is to put a quote on top of the triangle page, I actually want to hide my journaling underneath the picture. I've seen a lot of crafters doing this lately. I think maybe Allie was the first one, or maybe it was Laura Wanzik was the first one. I forget who the first one was that did this technique, but basically all I'm doing is cutting a slit into the photo, and then from that slit, I can put in and out this journaling card that has a photo adhered to the back of it. So that's just a way for me to add an extra photo into this page as well from the visit, in addition to the journaling card itself. So I went ahead and cut the slit. I made the slit just slightly longer than the card, just to give myself a little bit of wiggle room on getting it in and out from behind the picture. Then I'm going to adhere the picture down onto the journaling card. And what I'm doing right now is pretty much making a pocket that this photo will go into. I don't want the photo to go too far underneath the photo so I can't grab it. So I put an extra piece of tape on the side of the photo just so that when it's inserted in, it's like it has its own little individual pocket. Then I'm going to adhere the entire photo down. I am using score tape, which I probably would do anyway for this, just because it has a slightly stronger hold than my roller dot adhesive, but I'm also completely out of roller dot adhesive right now. I need to put an order in because all I have is a huge stockpile of score tape, which is good and bad. Good because of a lot of tape, and bad because it takes a lot longer to use score tape than it does to use a roller adhesive. So, okay, so then I pulled over that little label that says 100% fun. And what I'm going to do is use it almost like a tab. So I adhered it onto the front of the journaling, and then I staple it on just to give it a little bit of extra stability. And then that journaling will tuck right underneath the photo. So then I will just apply my adhesive to the back of the page itself, and then I will go ahead and adhere that down into my book, and then we'll get to work on the next page. So for the left side of this spread, I wanted to include a quote. Included in the Future Craft releases, this past release, were the outline alphabet stamp to the Apollo lowercase alphabet. So I have both the lowercase alphabet, like the full filled in stamp, and then now also the outline as well. So I wanted to take advantage of those and find a quote that would work with this animal, so with the peacock. And when I Googled, like, I don't know, things that people say, or like art, sayings that people will put with artwork of peacocks, I found this one that said, "You were born to stand out," which is perfect, right? Because peacocks are like beautiful and colorful, and they do absolutely stand out. So what I decided to do was to pull out a bunch of different inks that are in relatively the same colors as this kit. I did choose to use all of my Ali Edwards crafter inks except for the black. The black is my favorite Scrapbook.com premium dye ink. So the reason I chose to pull out my Ali Edwards inks, besides the reason that I just love them, they're like chalky and not quite perfect when they stamp down, and that's actually, I'm okay with that. I like both. I like stamp sets that are like pristine and bold and like, what do I want to say, like very crisp, but I also like ones that have almost a more artsy painted feel. So I used my Ali ones because I don't have the Scrapbook.com inks. I don't have all of them, and I think I only had 2 that would match this kit, and I wanted more colors than that. So I pulled out my Ali Edwards inks instead. And I decided to stamp each word a different color, the only exception being that "you" and "to" are both in that dark blue. I figured that they were far apart enough in the quote that wouldn't bother me not having a different color for every single word. Then I took my Scrapbook.com premium dye black ink and used that to stamp the outlines onto the alphabets. So now you can see how that is going to look. Finally, I pulled a stamp off of the Happy Little Moments stamp set. It says "totally worth it" in like a circle, and I have that stamped on there just to cut it out as an embellishment. I used a 1-inch punch to punch out that one, and then I went and watched an episode of right now I'm watching the show Lock and Key on Netflix, which by the way is fantastic. I'm really enjoying that show. I think I'm like almost done with it, which is sad. Anyway, so I watched an episode of that and fussy cut out my alphabets, which actually, it really doesn't take me a long time to fussy cut stuff like this. And I don't mind it. It's kind of therapeutic for me to just sit and cut things out and like not really think about anything. So I really enjoyed it. I also will mention that all of this, so the letters and that little circle embellishment, I stamped down on white matte sticker paper, which I highly recommend, especially for traveler's notebooks, just because with a traveler's notebook, you want to try and keep your bulk down so that you can fit more pages into the book itself without breaking the spine. So I know I can typically get like 16 pages in a book, but I also sometimes add bulky stuff, and that limits how many pages you can have. So for this book, I'm trying to keep my bulk down, and therefore I chose to use sticker paper instead of cardstock. Also, as I mentioned before, I don't have any roller adhesive, and putting score tape on all of those little letters sounded like a nightmare. So sticker paper was my savior. So once I have all that down, I am just going to adhere this one into the book, and then that is going to complete this project. It actually was pretty easy to do this one. It didn't take me very long except for fussy cutting out the letters, but like I said, that does not bother me. And I'm really happy with how it came out. So I'm just going to get the excess cut off of the edge here. There's just a little bit. And then we will slow this video back down and go ahead and close you guys out. Okay, so that finishes up this spread, you guys, and I really like the way that it turned out. Like, super cool. I'm really glad that I chose to stamp that on the sticker paper. It made it really easy to put it down on this page. And this was a really fun technique that, you know, a lot of crafters have been doing. I've seen it a lot lately, so it was a good way to add some journaling when I wanted to do something a little different than just having my journaling on a page. So really like it, super fun. Glad to have February in the books. March is going to be a little bit weird because the zoo is actually closed right now due to the coronavirus outbreak. So I think we're planning to do some kind of like virtual tour of the zoo this month just to get our, as they call it, vitamin Z fix in. Hopefully we'll do that this weekend, and then I'll have to somehow document our virtual visit for March, which is crazy, like so crazy. Anyway, yeah, so far I am really enjoying this little traveler's notebook. I hope that you guys are enjoying this as well. I hope you liked this video, and if you do, make sure you give me a thumbs up down below. It lets me know to keep making content like this for you guys. And yeah, just giving you some different ideas of ways to use your traveler's notebook for any documenting you are doing. It doesn't have to be documenting zoo visits like us. Anyway, so I guess that will do it for me for today. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Let me know what is something fun that you guys have planned for this weekend. It's kind of a crazy one. So what is something fun that you guys are going to do this weekend? For us, it's a virtual zoo visit. So hold me to that. All right. Well, until next time, you guys have a great day, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye now.